Respected organizers, respected colleagues, I am Dr. Nadezda Stojkovic, affiliated with the University of Niš, Serbia, and this is my contribution to this roundtable. I will be speaking based on some 20 years of experience in teaching ESP and initiating, organizing, and chairing some additional activities that promote internationally this approach to teaching a foreign language. I will introduce myself briefly. I teach at two faculties, Faculty of Electronic Engineering and Faculty of Medicine. I am the editor-in-chief of the Journal of Teaching English for Specific and Academic Purposes. I stand before an international conference organized by our university that we have held 4 times so far. I also have engagements abroad in Lithuania as a visiting professor in the theory of LSP and with Cambridge Scholars Publishing as an advisory editor. And my publications, my research actually is all related to the field of ESP. I will now speak about our actual contribution to the field of ESP in terms of its wider recognition and the dissemination of its relevance. So in 2013, we initiated organizing an international conference in this field. And if I may remind you or show you, this is where we are. We are a small country. Serbia is a country of some 6 million people. And Niš, where I come from, is the 3rd largest city in the country. I am saying this because when we started the conference in 2013, we had 100 participants coming from 4 continents, 40 countries in 2013. The tradition remained. So far, we have been visited by participants coming from 56 countries altogether. If all these colleagues, practitioners, scholars have been willing to join us and to make a physical effort to come to us, and we are not very famous, then it proves our premise, our starting premise, that for ESP practitioners, lecturers, researchers, there are not enough venues where to present their work, where to exchange know-how, and where to promote. At our first conference, we had the exquisite support by Professor Ann Jones as a keynote speaker. Then we were able to bring Professor Diane Belcher, Professor Mary Risner, who is with us today. So this is also telling of the recognition of relevance of this work by outstanding individuals, professors, scholars in the field. Let me also say that we have expanded to LSP, not just ESP, as we believe and recognize that we can share much of our professional knowledge. Another major aspect of our work and our pride is our journal. It was initiated and established in the same year as when we began our conference tradition. And the proof of the same idea that people dealing with languages for profession are underrepresented in our international academic area setting is the fact, we find the proof in the fact that already in 2015, 2 years exactly after the establishment of the journal and only 9 issues published, we were recognized by the Web of Science and included in this database. And we are now also indexed in the Scopus database. Again, we welcome LSP contributions, and we have so far had a special issue devoted to it and are open to more of such papers. On the basis of the experience that I have had so far and that I have tried to present you, I am now putting forward my arguments. And the first one is the need of what as I term it here, building a tradition in LSP. And by that, I mean that what we can do in our own environment or wider, I hope, should not be a one-time event, occurrence, but that because LSP has a significance for the impact on society that is measured in economic and cultural outputs, and that is because it is international and in nature and scope, it deserves, it definitely should be promoted in the sense that we need to expand and strengthen and deepen the awareness of its relevance, first of all, in our own academic settings, and then wider. I am saying that it is us who needs to do it. Speaking of this acknowledgement of the relevance of what we do in our own immediate academic settings, comes from my experience, my professional exchange with colleagues in the country in the region and Europe who very often tell of highly similar situation they experience professionally, that the positions of ESP, LSP lecturers uh, is somewhat or even more neglected. And it seems that very often those courses they provide and they themselves are kind of put aside. Therefore, if uh, organizing, if facilitating pathways of various sorts, of we have our own two examples of the conference and of the journal, does help change this situation. I believe that an ideal prospect, a resolution of this situation would be to gather together and have some platform which would enable us to meet, which would serve as a pool of our own data, of our own work, as a pool of um, both teaching and reading material, and a place where to inform of all kinds of events and projects. There are exquisite examples functioning nicely of huge organizations, and of course those require personnel, require infrastructure, various kinds of support, but it can be an idea for us to consider. Thank you very much.